In this video, I'm going to talk about what you actually need postpartum versus the items that everyone tells you that you need that might be a little bit unnecessary. I also want to talk about hospital bag packing recommendations. I was someone who watched so many of these videos, so many hospital bag videos, postpartum cart videos, all of those things. And now that I've experienced it and gone through it myself, I feel like I have a good idea of what you need and what maybe you don't need. So yeah, that's what today's video is going to be. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy. And let's go ahead and get started. I will have all of the products that I recommend in the comments down below. I also have like pregnancy, breastfeeding, postpartum recommendations on my Amazon storefront. So that will be down there as well for anything that I don't mention in this video. This video is strictly postpartum necessities, postpartum products, things that directly affected me. So I have a ton of baby recommendations, newborn recommendations. I actually have videos of that up on my channel, but this is all about postpartum and me, or you in this case, if you're the one having the baby. To give a little background, I had an unplanned C-section. So I went in and had a failed induced labor ending in a C-section. I also am exclusively breastfeeding. I'm actually exclusively nursing. So these are products that will cater to that sort of postpartum situation. Starting off with the things that I think are absolute necessities. The first thing I actually don't have with me anymore, but it is disposable underwear. These things were incredible. I've lived in them for the first like 3 weeks postpartum because even though I had a C-section, I still bled a lot, which I had heard, but I wasn't expecting it to last so long. So definitely get some of these ahead of time. This is the brand that I ordered. I got them from Amazon and I would highly recommend these, but I know there's a few different brands out there. These are just the ones that I tried and worked really well for me. But that is something that I would say is an absolute necessity. I would recommend getting those ahead of time for anybody who's planning on having a kid. Sort of going along with that, I have some underwear. This is like high-waisted cotton underwear. Not the cutest thing, but it's very comfortable and it's high-waisted, so it worked really well with having a C-section incision. I highly recommend these. Once I like moved out of the disposable underwear, I switched over to these and these have been great. I honestly still wear these because they're really comfy, so I wear these to bed all the time. But just a pack of high-waisted black cotton underwear is a must-have for me. Another must-have that I was not expecting was this abdominal binder. I actually got this one from the hospital. I was looking into them before I had my daughter, and I know people like to use them with either like having a C-section or not postpartum, but this was actually given to me in the hospital and I used this while I was in the hospital as well as for like a week straight, like at least a week afterwards. This just helped keep pressure on my incision, made me feel a little bit better, more secure, and it was just great to have. This was not something that I expected to need, but I'm so happy that I had one of these. They sell them on Amazon, but again, my hospital gave this to me, so I'm sure that's an option at most hospitals. Just definitely something that I would either recommend requesting, or if it is offered to you, to at least try it out. Next, we have pajamas. This was the best nightgown. When I was in the hospital, all I wore was the hospital gown that they gave me, but once I got home, I lived in these nightgowns. They actually button up, so it's great for nursing or pumping, and it's just like a nice comfy lightweight cottony material. And this was also great post C-section because I would just wear my disposable undies and then this, and I was good to go. Same with like some sort of like nursing bra. I definitely had a bit of an oversupply when my milk came in, so I needed to have a bra on 24/7. So I tried a few different ones, which we'll kind of get to that, but sports bras, just like sports bras with straps that go straight back, was the best. I actually have something kind of like that on right now. It's like an old Aerie one, so it's not like the cutest, but it's just like a stretchy, comfy sports bra. I just take a strap down and then nurse on one side, or I'll do it on the other side, and that's been what's worked best for me. So any sort of like comfy, stretchy sports bra is my recommendation. Next, we have this. This is a fan. This is a must-have for the hospital. I am so happy that I had this. I was so hot in the hospital. Towards the end of pregnancy, I was just like experiencing like hot flashes, and I was being induced, so I was like on like cervical ripening medications and things like that, so I was having contractions and it was just a rough time. But this fan made it a lot better. It actually has a light on it as well, and now we can use this as a stroller fan, so this is a great purchase and I highly recommend this one. Next, we have nursing pads. I started off with a box of like disposable ones that was just like kind of like a hand-me-down situation, and I did not realize how bad I needed nursing pads. I didn't know I was gonna be leaking all the time, and I leaked for a long time. I was reliant and dependent on these babies for like 3 months. Like maybe at like 4 months, when my baby turned 4 months old, that's probably when I felt free enough to not wear these anymore. So I know that's not the case with everybody. Some people say it's like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, but for me it was like 12 plus weeks before I wasn't like constantly leaking. So these were fantastic. I went through the disposable ones really quickly, so I decided to get some of these reusable ones from Amazon. They're super soft and comfy. It comes in like a big pack of like 12 or something. I actually ended up getting 2 packs because I would switch these out multiple times a day because they would fill up from me leaking. So a little bit of an unexpected thing, and sort of something that I had purchased after the fact because I didn't know that I was going to need these, but these were a must-have for me postpartum. I have quite a few other like breastfeeding type items to talk about, but first I'm going to talk about some like supplements slash like medicine, I guess. So my prenatal vitamin, this is the one, I buy this from Amazon. This is the 1-a-day prenatal one. This is what I use during pregnancy, and my doctor recommended that I stay on it postpartum while I'm breastfeeding. So I definitely would recommend that, and to continue taking that. Another thing that I haven't taken in a while, but in the beginning, this helped me. This was another panic purchase for me. This is used for clogged milk ducts and supporting your milk supply, which I had no problem with my milk supply, which I'm very thankful for. But in the beginning, it was rough, and I was like desperate for any sort of relief. I was in so much pain. I was so engorged. I just was like, is this normal to feel this way? It was rough. And so I bought this just to see if this would give me some relief, and I really think that this did help me. It could have been a coincidental timing thing, but I would recommend at least trying this. And like I said, I panic purchased this after the fact, but after like 3 to 4 weeks, things kind of started calming down. So I haven't taken these since then, and I haven't had an issue with my milk supply. Again, very grateful for that. But I know a lot of people love this supplement, and this did help me out for a while, especially in that early postpartum period. Next, we have nipple butter. This one is from Earth Mama. This is my favorite one that I used. I don't use this anymore, but in the beginning I used this after every single time that I breastfed. This was great because it's like safe, has like safe ingredients in it, so you don't have to like worry about applying it where, you know, if you are nursing. But this one was really nice. I have a few different ones. I used like some samples and things, but this one was my favorite. But any of them I think are gonna work great. I didn't really experience anything too severe as far as like cracked skin, which I know a lot of people do have, like cracked bleeding skin. Luckily, that was not the situation for me. I definitely felt like sore and it was rough in the beginning with like trying to get a proper latch and things like that. But after a few weeks, I didn't need this any longer, but I do still keep this on hand just in case. My baby is teething now, so I'm a little nervous to see what's gonna happen in the next month or so. Another thing that I ended up not expecting to need was Aquafor. So this was actually given to me by the hospital because when they removed my like bandage from my C-section, the lady was like, let's get it over with quick. She just ripped that thing off, tore my skin off with it, and that was like probably one of the most painful parts of the whole C-section situation was the skin ripping off from her pulling the tape off too fast. So that was brutal. The doctor was like, oh, like, you know, I recommend taking this off in the shower when you get it a little wet, so keep that in mind. The nurse was like, oh no, you'll be fine, let me just take that off. And it was like the middle of the night. It was like day like 2, I think, maybe, because I had my daughter at night, so it was like 24 hours later. We were in the thick of it, and I was just like, whatever, just take it off. And it was brutal. So I put this, she gave me this to put on there. She told me to not put it on my actual incision, but just to put it on the area where she ripped my skin off. So that was definitely an unexpected need, but it was a need. Also, stool softener. I highly recommend stool softener. They're gonna offer it to you in the hospital. Take the stool softener. You're gonna need it. You're gonna be happy that you took it. And I would recommend getting some for yourself at home too, because that is like one of the scariest things, is having to go to the bathroom after having a C-section. Oh my God, that's like, I don't even want to think about that again. So I know it's kind of like weird, but like, trust me, take the stool softener and get some for yourself to have at home. My next necessity. This manual pump right here saved my life. This was incredible. This thing was also given to me by my hospital, but they do sell this on Amazon, or at least a similar one. There's plenty of ones. This one is from the brand Medela, and I love this thing. I would nurse on one side and then pump on the other side, and then I would swap, and I had to do both. And I know pumping can increase your milk supply, but I was at the point where my boobs were so engorged and so like painful that I had to like just get a little bit of the edge off by pumping some. And when I say some, I was getting like 4 or 5 ounces every time that I pumped. And it was, you know, again, I'm very thankful. I'm not trying to like complain about it. I know that I am very lucky with my milk supply situation, but it was so painful, like so painful. So learning how to manage that was huge. This was great. I actually ended up with 2 of these from the hospital somehow. They like gave me one, and then they were like, oh, here, we brought you a pump. And I was like, oh, they actually already brought me one. They were like, well, you can have this one too. So I got 2, which was great because I could like alternate it with like sanitizing and washing it and whatever. But this was fantastic. I'll link the one that's on Amazon, but yeah, I highly recommend this. There's multiple parts. This actually doesn't have all the parts on it. There's like a little thing that goes here, but I just kind of put it together to show you. I haven't used this in a while though, but once I stop nursing, I do plan on continuing to like breastfeed and pump. So I'm sure I'll be using this again in the future. But yeah, this thing was fantastic. And then I also tried this one, which is the Haka. This one's like a suction one, so you like go like this, and then you attach it, and then it like suctions on, and then this kind of uses the suction as well as just gravity to help catch like let down. So when you nurse on one side, I would leak a lot on the other side, like just the stimulation would cause that, and that's very common and normal. That doesn't happen to me anymore, so I again haven't used like any sort of pump in a while, but I do plan on using pumps again once I transition from exclusively nursing to introducing like purees and stuff to her, as well as like bottle feeding her more. There's also extra parts, and I bought extra bottles so that I could pump and then just like store this in the fridge, and then I would transfer it to the freezer, or I just to have more pieces that I had accessible without having to like sanitize. I did run into that a few times where I didn't have like a sanitized bottle, and I was like in need of pumping, and so I bought some extra bottles. They have different sizes, all kinds of different things, extra pieces that I don't have on here. So I'll link all the parts and pieces that I would recommend, but having extra is always great. So those are all of my like absolute must-haves that I could think of. I have a few that I were like kind of like in between, like I used them, but like I don't know that I would absolutely need them for next time. But I feel like this next one might be, I got these ice packs from, these are from the brand Lancino, I think. Yeah, Lancino, and these are just like little reusable ice packs that you can put in your bra to help with like engorgement pain. And these, I did use these a lot in the beginning. They just don't really stay cold for super long. They come with these little sleeves that you put them in. This did give me good relief, but you could also make your own like ice pack situation at home. But these were great, and I'm glad that I had these, and I will be keeping these for any future kids that I have. Another product that I used and definitely was glad that I had, but I wouldn't say it's gonna be a necessity for everybody, is a heating pad or a heated pad. I know a lot of girlies out there have these for like period cramps and things, but I've never had one of these before. But I was glad that I had this. I use this for engorgement pain, for like post-birth cramps, back pain. It was really nice to have. It just plugs into the wall and it gets nice and warm. Sorry if you can hear my baby in the other room. She's with her dad. But yeah, this was definitely something that I was glad that I had on hand. Another thing that I actually don't have anymore, they are like the icicle pads, if that makes sense. So I bought these before thinking I was gonna have like a normal delivery, non-C-section delivery, but I didn't, obviously, and I was told that you could use these little icicle pads as like a kind of like an ice pack for your incision, and I did try that, but it like wasn't cold enough for me. So they were nice and I'm glad that I had them, but in the future I would just make my own little like ice pack and, you know, put like a towel between my skin and the ice pack and just go that route. But having an ice pack was super like helpful and gave me some comfort when my incision was hurting a lot. So I don't think you need to buy the icicle pad things. My hospital also gave me some, but I also bought some. So I did use them, but I think there's just a regular ice pack is like the way to go in the future. Now, things that I did not use or I would not recommend, things that I think you don't need. Personally, I know everybody's different. There's people that swear by these items, but these are just things that I personally did not use or did not think were worth the hype. So starting off with some obvious ones, I didn't use anything like this, any Dermaplast or the Freedom On Perineal Healing Foam, because again, I had a C-section, so I didn't have a use for this personally. Now I am gonna keep this because you can use this for like burns and bug bites and things like that. So definitely gonna keep this, and it's a good thing to have. But I didn't end up needing the perineal healing foam, just because again, I had a C-section, so I didn't have that like discomfort that regular deliveries have. So didn't end up using that, but I think there's like witch hazel in there. Tux pads are another thing that I know people use. Even if you have a C-section, Tux pads could come in handy. I did try those a couple times and they were nice. I also didn't use any sort of peri bottle. So this is the one that the hospital gave me, but I never used it. I took it home just because, but I didn't end up using this. But this is the one that they gave me. And I also have the Freedom On one, which everyone said this one was like way better, which you can see. This one points up, so you fill it with warm water and you like spray down there to help rinse without having to like wipe, as opposed to this where you have to squirt it upward. This you just hold like this and squirt. This one you have to like spray it up. So I do see the benefit of this one, and if I knew that I was gonna have like a, I keep saying normal delivery just because I don't want to say, I don't know what word I can say on YouTube, but if I was gonna have a traditional delivery, I would definitely use the Freedom On one, but I didn't end up using a peri bottle. You definitely could use one, I guess, to help like from like reaching far and wiping and things like that with having your C-section incision, but I just personally didn't need one of these. Another thing that I used, and it literally did nothing for me, were these silverettes. These were expensive. I got these on Amazon, but they're supposed to help with like nipple pain and like healing because it's like silver, but this did not do anything for me. And I think these were like 35 bucks. So I regretted purchasing these. I do not think that you need these, but there's some people out that swear by these and say that this is what got them through their breastfeeding journey, but for me, that was not the case. So yeah, I wouldn't personally recommend these. I think they're expensive, and just like nipple butter and ice packs worked way better for me than this did. And then finally, we have this nursing bra, which this kind of should have gone in like my in-between category. This is like, it's a nursing bra. It's your typical stretchy nursing bra. And these might work well if you have smaller boobs, but I'm a 38H and I am breastfeeding and my boobs are just a lot, right? So this does not give me any support whatsoever. My boobs tend to find their way to the middle and kind of open this up. They do not stay behind the triangles. So this is not ideal for me. But I maybe for someone who has a smaller chest, this would work out well for, but just for me, it's not the best. It's comfy and nice and stretchy, but your regular like stretchy sports bra that doesn't have the crisscross in the front is way better in my opinion. I just pull the strap down and I just pull it down like past my boob to nurse, and then I pull it back up, put my strap back on. So yeah, these nursing bras were not it for me personally, but I do still wear them sometimes, but it's just for me and my body, doesn't really work too well. Another thing that I did not use was my electric pump. So I got a pump from my insurance. I got the Spectra, the pink Spectra one, and I have not used it a single time. And I am 5 months postpartum. I'm over 5 months postpartum and I haven't used it a single time. I do think that I will use it. I think that I'll probably use it once I stop nursing. So I use the manual pump for like relief. And I do have some milk in my freezer, which is nice to have. Like I feel good having that. We also do have like formula just in case, who knows? But we haven't had to use formula or anything yet. So yeah, haven't used my pump, like my electric pump. It's the one that plugs into the wall. But I think that I will use that once I transition away from nursing and just do like bottle feeding and like purees, and once we start introducing like food to her, that type of thing. So that wasn't an immediate need for me, but I know people exclusively pump and they use it from day one. So it's obviously up to your personal situation, but this was my experience and I thought I would let you know what I feel like was a must-have and what was like a maybe, and then what was like a not, either like I don't recommend it, like the silver I just think this was a waste of money for me personally, or like, you know, obviously some stuff just didn't end up applying to me because I didn't have, or I ended up having a C-section. So, and that's okay, but you know, it's you live and you learn, and I'm glad that I have knowledge now. Now, as far as packing your hospital bag, I know this has been a long chatty video. You do not need as much as you think you need. This is what I would say to bring. I have made a little list. So keep it simple. Bring your phone, your Kindle, your laptop, you know, anything that might give you some entertainment, because you could be there for a few days. You could be there for a while or longer, and bring chargers for those things. I would say bring a going home outfit. That could be the outfit that you showed up in, just some leggings and a t-shirt, whatever is comfy and you're gonna feel good in. And then I would say bring shower shoes. I wore shower shoes, and I brought some little toiletries, some shampoo and conditioner, toothbrush, toothpaste. I would say a pillow is a must-have. I'm so thankful that I brought my pillow, and like a blanket if you want. You can always ask for more blankets, so that's not a must-have, but if you want just to be a little extra cozy, bringing a blanket from home is nice, but the pillow is a must-have. And then your fan, your little fan, and that's all. You don't need extra changes of things. You're gonna be wearing disposable mesh underwear and like probably no bra, hospital gown. People like to be a lot more intricate and they'll order like special like labor gowns from websites and things like that. I didn't need that. I literally just wore the same hospital gown. And then the hospital has all the supplies that you would need, like a peri bottle or like Tux pads or things like that. They have that, the ice packs, the mesh underwear, the pads. So anything that you get like that would be for when you get home, so you don't need to bring that to the hospital. I brought like way more clothes than I needed. I didn't need another pair of shoes. You know, maybe a hairbrush to brush your hair and a scrunchie or something, but just so minimal, like so minimal, just like entertainment, and then like your going home outfit, which again could be the outfit that you showed up in if you are going, like I was going to get induced, so I knew I had a date, I knew when I was going to be going, but having a bag packed ready to go is definitely ideal. The only thing that I didn't bring that I wish I brought was my own pair of grippy socks. So I had to wear like grippy socks when I was in the hospital because you're like considered a fall risk. Yeah, had to wear grippy socks, and they didn't fit right. They always fit funky, and they just were not comfortable. And they sell grippy socks on Amazon. I'll link some down below. I almost bought them, but I didn't end up buying them, and I wish I did buy them because I ended up being at the hospital for like 3 days, I think. And yeah, that's the only thing that I didn't bring that I wish I brought was my own grippy socks that would be more comfortable. So yeah, as far as postpartum anything, I think that pretty much covers it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer based on my experience. And yeah, I hope this video was informative and helpful for you, but don't stress the packing situation. And if you don't have these things, it's okay, you know. These are just things that made my life so much easier, and I would say like it is better to be prepared than not, but you don't need to over prepare, and so you don't need to get every single postpartum thing on the market. I haven't ever tried lactation cookies or anything like that. I didn't end up needing them, but you know, I know that works for some people, but I personally, that was not a necessity for me. So there's a lot out there. You know, think about yourself and your situation and just go from there. Don't stress it too much. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I love you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.